Viewer, it's raining Bharat Ratnas. 5 announced so far this year, the highest ever, with 3 announced just today alone. The Bharat Ratna roll call for 2024 is quota icon Karpoori Thakur, Ram movement pioneer LK Advani, ex-Prime Minister and farmer leader Chaudhary Charan Singh, ex-Prime Minister and architect of India's liberalization Narasimha Rao, and father of India's Green Revolution Dr. MS Swaminathan. That's 5. But I wanted to focus on one of these 5 newly minted Bharat Ratnas because it stands out for me and to many as something that carries an edge beyond the usual political symbolism. I'm talking about PV Narasimha Rao, a Congress Prime Minister who holds the distinction of not even being acknowledged, forget about being respected by his own party. But to understand why PV Narasimha Rao was so disregarded by his own party and why today's Bharat Ratna from the so-called enemy camp, the BJP, is so significant, we quickly need to look at how Rao even came to be Prime Minister of India. As a minister in the Indira Gandhi and Rajiv Gandhi cabinets in the 70s and 80s, Narasimha Rao had decided to retire following the Lok Sabha campaign of 1991. He had no plans to continue as a Prime Minister and was fully ready to return to his native, then undivided Andhra Pradesh and write his memoirs. The tragic assassination of Rajiv Gandhi changed all of those plans and created a sudden leadership vacuum in the Congress party. While Sonia Gandhi had expressed no desire yet to step in and take charge of the party, several leaders like N.D. Tiwari, Sharad Pawar and Arjun Singh saw their chance at taking a shot at the Prime Minister's chair. Now, PV Narasimha Rao wasn't even in the reckoning. He wasn't even interested. Ironically, Sonia Gandhi's advisors like R.K. Dhawan and M.L. Fotedar saw Rao as a safe choice. Imagine the irony, since he seemed quieter and less ambitious than the other 3. And therefore, with Sonia Gandhi's tentative blessings, a frankly surprised Narasimha Rao became the Prime Minister in 1991. Now, according to one account, when he went to thank Sonia Gandhi for her endorsement, he prostrated himself on the floor in a show of loyalty and respect. But this was a relationship that would rapidly deteriorate and finally snap. Rao's tenure as PM would have a profound effect on India. It began with the famous liberalization of India's economy just months after he took over. And the following year, the Babri Masjid was demolished in Ayodhya. He would call it a conspiracy by the BJP and Sangh Parivar against his government. But he could never escape from the fact that it happened on his watch as Prime Minister. 3 years later, by 1995, frictions between Rao and Sonia Gandhi had increased over perceived delays in the investigation into Rajiv Gandhi's assassination. And in August that year, she publicly attacked the Rao government on that very sensitive issue. Rao's fate in the Congress, as you can imagine, was now completely sealed. There was no turning back. In 1996, Rao became the first non-Gandhi congressman to complete a term as Prime Minister. But his unceremonious end as a congressman was a train that had already left the station. There was no going back. Following the 1996 election defeat, Rao was obviously denied a ticket to fight in the 1998 election, with the Congress leadership openly saying that those who failed to protect the Babri Masjid would not be worthy of a Congress ticket. 2 years later, when Sonia Gandhi finally stepped into the political ring as Congress president in 1998, the meticulous scrubbing of Rao from Congress history began. No portraits, no tributes, no documents, no naming him in speeches, nothing. In 2004, when PV Narasimha Rao passed away in Delhi, one final act of disrespect and ignominy awaited him from his party. His body was paid cursory respect by the Congress leadership, but when his funeral casket, taken by his family, was taken to the Congress headquarters on 24 Akbar Road, the gates reportedly did not open for the procession. It was the final act, the clearest possible way that the Congress could tell Rao and his family that the party wanted nothing to do with him and them. He would finally be cremated far away in then Andhra Pradesh, his funeral pyre becoming a symbol of the heated North-South politics that the Congress ironically has made such a big political weapon these days. The Congress always found it difficult to hold down its decision to evaporate and extinguish PV Narasimha Rao from its history. And that's probably precisely why the Modi government's decision to give Rao a Bharat Ratna has such a sharp edge. Of course it's political. Of course it ticks all the boxes with the South, with Andhra Pradesh and the upcoming election. But it also amplifies all that the BJP loves to bash about the Congress party. of being a hypersensitive high command, intolerant of challenges to its leadership, suspicious of any internal success that doesn't stem from Gandhi patronage, the ruthlessness of coteries, the devastating damage that can be dealt by the Darbar once a decision is taken, no matter what your achievements, even as a Prime Minister. Now, in the ebb and flow of politics in our country, the Bharat Ratna to PV Narasimha Rao comes as a reminder of these many, many blurred lines. Thank you for listening.